So welcome back to part 3 of the Dell System 200 repair. We've had some trouble getting the hard disk working, but I have an add-in card which I'm hoping is going to make it all work. So let's crack on with part 3. So welcome back. So you probably remember that in part 2 we decided that this multifunction I/O card was probably damaged here and therefore not working very well. And so what I've done is I've ordered some replacements for this, and it's been about 10 days now since we did that last part of the video, but they have arrived and we're just going to have a quick look at those and decide which one we're going to use. So here are the two cards that I have got to replace that one. Each of these has an advantage and a disadvantage, and I'll quickly just go over them. So this one is a Gear branded multi-IO card. It's got a IDE connector and a floppy disk connector, so that's got what we need on it. It's also got 2 more serials, a parallel and a game port. And we've already got 2 serials and a parallel port in the machine, so we could use this card, but we'd have to either disable those or configure them to be COM 3 and 4 and a second parallel port. That's probably achieved by these jumpers here, but I can't find any documentation to say exactly what these different jumpers do. So at the moment, although this is a kind of more flexible option, it's also a little bit more of an unknown quantity because I don't know what these jumpers do. And so I don't know if that's the best one to put in. It has the advantage of being full height, and I'll show you why that's important in a second. A second option is to use this Pine Technology 611, which is just floppy and IDE. It's exactly the right kind of age. It's 1992. And it only has the 2 on it. It doesn't have a serial parallel game port or anything like that. This has got some documentation, so I do know what these jumpers do. The problem with it is it's half-height card. So when I put it in the system, the cable's going to be quite low down in the case, and they might foul on the existing parallel and serial cables that are there, and even the power connector that are in there. So there is a disadvantage of using this card. We can move it over a slot. Maybe that'll give us a bit more leeway. But I think overall this one's probably the one I'm going to use. It also has the advantage, in fact both of these have the advantage of being the same colour as the VGA card, and I just think that looks slightly nicer. So let's try putting this one in and see if we get any joy. So here's the system, and this is the I/O slot that the original card came out of. So what I want to do is put it in the same place just because it's closer. If I move it over, the cables may not quite reach to a further away ISA slot. But these other cables here, the parallel and serial, well, I should say the parallel and serial cables are kind of in the way, and this power connector as well. So I don't want the low card and these cables, you know, kind of brushing up against them. So we'll see if it fits. Hopefully it does. The other thing is I haven't changed any of the jumpers on this card yet. They're all in the default position, and I think that should just work out of the box looking at the small bit of documentation I've got for this card. So both these cards were sold to me as working, so hopefully they are. It's always worth tightening up your I/O cards if you can, because even a little bit of wobble sometimes can cause connection issues in the slot. So being open connectors, as in they haven't got a socket around them, then they're not keyed, so you don't know which one is pin 1, but it is marked on the board. So pin 1 is on the left in both of these connectors, so it should be just a simple case of plugging the cables in if they reach. So yeah, it's a bit of a tight squeeze with these other cables, and the cable isn't long enough to go in a further away slot. So I think that's the best we can do. I don't think we can get... Obviously I can get another cable, but I don't have one to hand. Let's just try this. And the next question is, do I put the original cable in, IDE cable, or do I put in a single-ended one? I'm gonna put this in. There we go. And we can also connect up the LED connector. Now that is marked positive and negative, so we can put that in the correct polarity. There we go. Again, hard drive wise, we're just going to put this, what we think is the working hard drive in that we used in the earlier part of the video. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Well, it's still booting, so that's always a good sign. Floppy disks are being accessed correctly, so that's all good. It says no boot device, but that's because if you remember the BIOS is set to have no hard disk. I'm struggling to remember what type of hard disk we thought this was. This is Gate34. I've still got the extended memory in actually, and we think maybe there's a problem with that. So if this doesn't work, we'll take the memory out. Okay, the hard disk is definitely spun up. We're not going to getting a boot device, but that's because we don't know if there's an operating system on that hard disk. So let's boot off a floppy and see if F-disk can see the disk. Does not have a hard disk. Okay, so we still don't know if that's because this hard disk controller isn't working or whether the hard disk isn't working. It's a relatively modern hard disk controller, as in it should recognize moderately sized IDE drives. So let's put a known good working drive in. So I've gone through my stash of low capacity IDE drives, and I think this is the one that's going to work the best. It's a Western Digital Caviar 2850, so it's 850 megabytes. A little bit big, but certainly contemporary. When was this drive made? This one was made in 1995, so it's a bit late, but does work, and does work with this controller. I've been through about 10 drives, and 2 of them that I thought were working didn't work with this particular machine. So I think maybe still there's some IDE compatibility issues in this very early IDE implementation, but this one works fine. So we're going to put this in and see if we can install DOS to it. I've also found my original Dell install disks, so that's nice. Okay, moment of truth. Are we going to get the go ahead and set up? Yes, we are. So it's going to partition the hard drive. Looks like it's already partitioned. Okay, everything's going to plan. The floppy disk drive is working, hard disk is working, and sounds really nice. It's pretty quiet actually, this drive. Let's see if we can get all the way through the install. Okay. Install is finished. Let's see if we can get a boot straight into DOS from the hard disk. Okay, it's not working. It's gone straight through to the flashing green light on the front of the case, and we're not getting a boot. Let's just power cycle it. Okay, so that hasn't worked. Can't find the operating system, so let's just quickly investigate that. Oh, I just found a quick way of getting into the BIOS. Control Alt and Enter gets you straight into the BIOS from the DOS prompt. So when we ran setup, originally it didn't F-disk the drive. There must have been a partition on there already, and I'm thinking maybe that's why it can't boot off it. So you've got another hard error with a flashing light on the front of the case. So I think that RAM's got to come out. I think that's still a problem. Okay, RAM has been removed. So let's quickly have a look at F-disk, see what F-disk says. As I said, the setup program didn't try and repartition the hard disk, so it installs straight to a partition. It's a primary DOS, MS6, nothing looks suspicious there. It's got an active flag. Let's just delete the partition and reinstall DOS. Okay, we're just going to reinstall DOS from beginning with a completely blank disk. Okay, so we have success. We have installed MS-DOS 6 on here. I did take out the extra megabyte of RAM, so it's only got the 641 megabyte on board. Hopefully that's going to be enough. It's only a 286. We're not going to be anything too exciting with this, at least not at this stage. There's always opportunity to upgrade later, of course. Let's recognise this drive as 965 cylinders with 5 heads, which is not what the hard drive is. That's not what we put in the BIOS either. At least not if that drive BIOS table is correct that I found on the wiki page. Let's just get CheckIt Pro back on there as well, just to see. Just so we can check the memory on the motherboard. Okay, to fit the drive in the case, I've got these little brackets that convert 3.5 to 5.25. So I'm going to put those in and see if we can stabilize it in there. I haven't got the drive rails, but I have got some screws on the cage. So I've just tried to put this in here, but it doesn't quite fit. The cage is a little bit wider because it's supposed to take rails, and these two screws don't quite line up correctly. So let's take that back off. And we'll see if we can screw the cage, the drive directly to the cage. That means it'll only be supported on one side. So that's not ideal, but it may be the way to go. So yeah, unfortunately it's holding with just one screw, so it is dangling down. It is pretty secure. I don't think it's going to move. But if you know where I can get some drive rails for a System 200 from 1988, please let me know. I'm really impressed with how much earthing this case has got. Okay, I'm going to put some case screws back in just to secure the thing. And probably won't surprise you to find out I'm not going to be using the wood screws in the corners. I think we're just going to rely on the three that do catch on threads. It may not satisfy the FCC, may not be fully compliant with their RF restrictions, but I think 3 screws is enough to hold this case together. Okay, we have the case reassembled. We have a monitor. I've gone for a LCD just so you don't get a flicker on the screen. I'm also doing video capture at the same time, but it's still got that very weird noir effect on a lot of the graphical screens. Anyway, so we're in CheckIt Pro. Let's do sysinfo. Let's see if this tells us anything. So I've not used this version of CheckIt Pro before, actually, interestingly. But hardware, generic AT, that's all as we'd expect, same as MSD showed us. Video memory, again, that's all the same, video and memory. So I've removed the extra 1 megabyte. We've only got the 640k/1 megabyte installed. Hard drive says can't find drives.dat. Okay. Floppy drives, got the 2 floppy drives. It's identified those correctly. Multimedia, so it's got the Visa supported modes, so that's good. No CD-ROM, no mouse, no modem, and no fax. So that's all as we would expect. Oh, that's quite nice. So a little graphical walkthrough of your memory. CMOS data, is there anything in there? So hard drive, so type 42 is what we put in the end, which gives us an 84 megabyte hard disk. I haven't actually checked how big the disk is. How big does CheckDisk think it is? So it reckons it is an 850 megabyte disk. Okay, so we are using all of the disk. Well, that says we're only using 80 megabytes. Hang on. Have I got my zeros in the wrong place? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So that says it's an 83 megabyte disk. So that is wrong, yes. So CheckDisk reckons is only 83, 84 megabytes in size, but we know it's 850. Fdisk, yeah, says it's 80 megabytes in size. So the hard drive in here is not being used to full capacity because we put in that type 42 configuration. So let's go back to that, see if we can improve on that at some point. So in the CMOS data, this is 84 megabytes, and that's basically what it's found in DOS. But we know it's actually a bigger hard drive than that. Oh, hard drive table. There we go. So just looking at this, this is a different hard drive table to the one I was looking up that refer to Phoenix BIOSes, so that is very useful. So hard drive wise, we've got 16 heads and 1500 cylinders, I think. Heads, 1000 cylinders is the biggest the ROM, the BIOS will go up to, so that's 35. 16 heads, 200 megabytes. So the biggest drive this BIOS officially supports is 204 megabytes. So we can get more capacity out of this drive, and we could use a drive overlay like OnTrack to get around that as well. So we'll change this to type 35 in a bit and see if that still lets us deboot. But yes, that is different, and that's a really useful function of CheckIt Pro. Anything else we want to know? Probably not. We haven't got Windows installed. Hard disk 0. What does hard disk 0? Oh, this is a benchmarking. Okay. Okay, so this obliterates the first generation hard disk in an XT. So this is what, 10 times faster in terms of actual throughput, and quite a lot faster in the average seek and track seeks. So this is a much more performant hard disk. It is a much later hard disk, obviously. So that's really nice to see. We're getting full performance out of that hard drive. Shame we're not getting full capacity out of it. What about system performance? So this is a 12 megahertz through 286, but it's got one wait state, so it's going to be a little bit slower than some of the faster 286s. So yeah, so we're 6.8 times faster than an XT, which is to be expected. And yeah, both on the integer and floating point. Is that floating point, I'm guessing? We can compare. So can we compare it with, there is a 286 in here. So yeah, so compared to a machine with 0 wait states, we're a little bit slower overall because the memory access is a bit slower. Okay, let's just do that with a hard disk and see if what a standard 286 hard disk would be like. So there we go, this machine is still faster by a long way than a standard 286 would have been at the time, just because it's got a more recent hard disk, probably between 3 and 10 times faster depending on which metric you're using. That's nice. What's the video card like? So again, we're measuring through the BIOS and direct to the video card, and again compared to the XT we're massively faster, so that's good to see. I'm not really familiar with this video card, whether it's a particularly fast one or not. It's not a local bus one, it's only 16-bit ISA, but let's compare it with a 286. And we're a little bit faster through the BIOS and a little bit slower direct through the memory. Okay. So we're on the right place. We're in the right place. What I'm interested in though is checking the memory again. So what have we got? We've got sysinfo, system test. I'm guessing it's that one. So yeah, quick test all. Okay, well, file, test everything, quick test, burn-in test, certification tests, system board memory. Okay, let's check the system board first. See what happens. The hard disk light is working, by the way. Okay, so the board test has finished. CPU's passed. Clock's passed. DMA controller passed. Interrupt controller passed. So the motherboard seems to be working fine, at least at this level. Let's try the memory. So we're just going to test all the base memory. So interestingly, the power light's flashing. while we're doing this. I don't know if that's significant. Oh, now we've lost the screen. Oh, it came back. Is this normal behavior? Ah, it must have been checking the video RAM, I'm guessing. So we've tested the, oh yeah, so it's tested the 640K and the video memory, of which there's 256K by the looks of it. It's passed the normal memory test and it passed the video memory test. Okay, so it looks like we do have a fully functional 286, which is really, really nice. I've given the case a little bit of a clean since you last saw it. It's looking nice. What else we need to check? Video tests. What video tests? Yeah, that's just going to scroll through all those different video modes, isn't it? Don't think we need to see that. Virus scanner. Okay, so there's a virus scanner on it, which is nice, and the hard disk formatter. Exits. So what else is in here? So we tried sysinfo and systest. What are all these other things? Are these, so that's check HD, check floppy disk. So are these sub bits of the testing? Maybe the command line. So if we do check hard disk, what does that do? Yeah, so this is the command line version of the tests. That's nice. So what's PC scan? Getting slightly distracted here. Trend micro, infected files. This is antivirus. Okay, so these are all the command line versions of the two main programs. Fine, good. I've also put Norton Utilities on here, just because system info. Let's do that with a hard disk check. So this reckons it's 12 times faster than a PC XT, and the hard drive is 10 times faster, 11 times faster, nearly 12 times faster. So this is quite a performant little 286, apart from that weight state issue. So what else can we do? Well, we can play a little bit of Wolfenstein 3D, because that's what you always do as soon as you install a new operating system. So we've got no sound card in here, so it's PC speaker only. It's happy with the amount of memory. Is it going to work? It is. It's a little sluggish, but it's not bad. So yeah, it's a little bit laggy, so it's a little bit hard to play. It's not terrible. It would definitely be playable back in the day. You would have been happy with this. Okay, so we've proved it's now working. Okay, so now we need to get some stuff on here. So yeah, we could put dbase on there. That's probably what this machine was used for, as I said, given this stick-on keyboard template. Interestingly, this is the XT style template, not the AT style template. So maybe it had a different keyboard originally, but this, I'm quite liking this keyboard, by the way. It's not super heavy or super strong or anything, and there's a little bit of flex in it, but the key action is very nice. It makes a nice noise, and it's not too tiring to use. We haven't tried this floppy drive yet to see if that works. Should we try that next? So I've got a box of discs that I bought in the job lot. Unfortunately, some of these have got magazine covers, but they don't actually have the original magazine disc anymore. Someone's put sticky labels over them, so I've got no idea what's on them. But at least we can have a go at looking at these and formatting them. So these are double-sided, double-density discs. Let's see if we can read one. Okay, well, it's read the file system. So we can use Norton Utilities to check the actual disk. This will tell us whether the drive mechanism, you're unable to boot from drive B, do you wish to do so? What does that mean? Does that mean it hasn't got a boot sector on that disk, or does it mean there's some configuration issue in the BIOS? Let's leave that as no for now. Would I like to check all of the drive for defective sectors? Yes, because I want to know whether we can read all of the disk using the disk mechanism. Okay, well this is promising. The disk is making the correct noises. It's not too noisy, it's not too quiet. And the head seems to be working because they're able to read the surface. No, but we were able to read the whole surface of the disk. Both heads were working. Mechanism sounded fine. So that drive doesn't need servicing either. I suppose we could try and format a drive. Okay, so we're going to format drive B, 360K. We're going to use the DOS format mode rather than any quick or save format modes that Norton Utilities have. Let's see if it goes. Format complete. So that worked really well. Pretty quick as well. So yeah, I'm pretty comfortable that this drive is working, which is nice. Do you know what I didn't do? Is we didn't check that disk for viruses before we stuck it in that machine. Bit late now. And we'll just check the C drive just to make sure we haven't given ourselves one. Okay, we got lucky. No viruses on here, or at least not by any viruses that were recognizable by 1993 version 2.6 of PC Scan from Trend Micro. Anything newer than that obviously may slip through. So what are we going to do with this machine now? Well, we could put some productivity software on there, particularly this dbase 4 stickers on there, but in 1988 there was one thing that I was definitely doing during my university holidays, and that was playing the heck out of Elite. So let's do that now. So these are the days when you could just copy files from one drive to another to install a bit of software. Didn't need an installation application. Some did have them, but you didn't need them necessarily. Having moved from the 8-bit world to the 16-bit world, we do get the shaded version of Elite, not just the standard wireframe version. So this machine is more than capable of doing the shaded version, I would hope. So let's do that. There's going to be some copy protection coming up. Page 43. Paragraph on word 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Widely. Perhaps it was case sensitive. Unlike Amstrad PCs, there's no volume control on this, so that's what you get. So we are here, we're at Lave. I never knew how to pronounce that, I always said Lave. And I'm harmless. We use function keys to get around. We've just launched. Where are we going to go? So yeah, I mean this, even though it's shaded, it's got no problems with performance, which is nice. Should we attack the space station just for a bit of fun? Here come the police. Well, there's 4 of them now. I'm dead. Okay, now playing this with the keyboards is fine. Playing it with the joystick is even better. And so we do need to put a sound card in here, and a joystick port will come with that. So that's one way of doing that. But yeah, we can play Elite. We can play Elite to our heart's content. If you've never played Elite, you should definitely do it. It was the kind of forerunner of all the space trading games. Do we go on the offense straight away? No, we've got that moire effect again, haven't we? I think this video card memory is perhaps not totally happy. I have got another 16-bit ISA card that we could put in here. It's a ET4000 base card. So I need to research what this card is and whether it's got a problem and whether it's better than the ET4000. So does CheckIt Pro allow us to have a look at what video card it is? Trident, but it doesn't say what chipset. From 1991, don't know. We could open up the case again and have a look. And we might do that if we put some more memory in there. Okay, just looking at the physical shape of the card, it looks like it might be a Trident 8900C or CL or something like that, which is from 1991 or 1992. So that would be slightly better than the ET4000 that I've got on the other card, the other ISA card that I have. So I'm going to keep this in here for now. In text mode, there's no moire. It's only in those graphical modes. That may start to bother me, particularly if we do start using this for a bit of DOS gaming. So there we have it. Not my oldest DOS computer, but my oldest Dell computer by quite a long way. This Dell System 200 from year 1988. I've got some ideas of what we can do with it next. Definitely a sound card going in there. Maybe changing the video card for one that doesn't produce that moire effect on the graphics modes. And obviously upgrading the memory as well. So it came with 2 megs. I've taken 1 meg out in case that's causing some stability. It's been very stable since I've done that. So upgrading it to the maximum, which is 5 megabytes, and putting 4 megabytes in would be the way to go, I think, for this. Obviously, this is going to be a really good, very early DOS gaming PC. More grunt than an XT class machine. I've got a couple of those. So this is a nice welcome upgrade for those machines that can't quite play things, you know, that are just on the border of playable. It's not the fastest 286 in the world. It's only 12 megahertz, and it has got 1 wait state. So it's not the super fast 286, but I'm really glad I've got it in my collection. I really love the aesthetics of this true kind of full-size ATX case with a proper Dell CRT on the top. It's going to look really nice. Definitely going to keep this one in my collection. It's been a bit of a haul. I've had some problems with it. Had to change that multifunction card, but everything else is working. You know, the CPU, the onboard RAM, both floppy disks, all seem to be working, which is really, really good. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed part 3 of this series. There is going to be a part 4. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to be coming out, but hopefully you'll look forward to that. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If you want to press the notification bell, you'll get an update when part 4 comes out as well. Thanks for watching. We will see you in the next one.